Oh, hi. David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. Welcome back. So clearly you can see today by the thumbnail and my accoutrements here that this is all about James Bond props and gadgets. And what's really interesting today is it's a little bit about boys with toys or even girls with toys. Some of the things that we grew up with in the movies, the gadgets, the props. And here's the reality, folks. Although I'm fully decked out in Q branch accoutrements, even a lab coat, I couldn't do this alone. And as I thought about who is the gadget meister that I know from the happiest country in the world, it's true, it was voted the happiest country in the world, from Finland with love, my good friend Klaus. Klaus, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much. Do I look
By the way,
happy enough to kind of?
but it is the happiest country in the world, right?
Yeah, actually, it is, and all the Nordic countries are there in the top for some reason. And yeah, I don't know if people walk around feeling like the happiest country, but let's live the brand.
Let's live the brand. I think it has something to do. I read a stat that 75% of the country is covered in forest. So all that good tree and outdoor air, maybe that's it. But we're not here to talk about nature. Quite the opposite. We're here to talk about technology. Now, Klaus and I talked a few weeks ago, and we wanted to do this video together. But let's talk about the premise of the video. So Klaus and I had homework to do. We had to think back as we were children growing up with the Bond films, all the way to adult children now. What are our top 10 favorite props and gadgets from the film? Now, this doesn't need to be entirely just gadgets that Bond would use. It could be gadgets that the bad guys use, or even props that help to tell the story. And by the way, Klaus not only is well versed on this, but Klaus, why is it, you could see in your background, why is it that props and gadgets attract you from the beginning?
Yeah, I don't know. It started when I was a kid and saw the first Bond movie in the movies for Your Eyes Only, and I came home and I made my own posters from the movie. So I had all these scenes with the yellow, the 2CV, and all of these. And I don't know, something happened, and I assume you're the same. That it's not enough when the movie is over. Some people just go home and enjoy themselves and do something else. But we kind of want to capture that movie and stay in that movie, and something happens. And when I collect these things and I surround myself and have my happy place with Bond gadgets, it's like stepping into the movie, and I still feel super kind of inspired by it.
I couldn't have said it better. For me, it's exactly that. It is owning a piece of the movie or a moment or a favorite moment. And I have to tell you and everybody out there, this was no easy task. I thought, oh, 10 props, 10 gadgets from the film. I'll gather them up in 5 minutes and set them out on a table. This took me like a better part of an hour. And what I did was, and I'd love to hear your process, I walked through my collection and I gathered way too many. And I thought, all right, I need to distill this down to my favorite, the things that I love them in the movie, but they delight me in real life as well. What was your process to pick out your top 10?
Yeah, so that's actually there's some kind of many levels in this. So you could kind of think which are your most valuable ones or more rare, most rare ones, and which. But for me, it's more about how I've chosen them. Is like those that just give me a good feeling, and some of them are not valuable at all, but they just do something to me. And I think it might be that if you asked me next week, it would change a little bit because you have your favorites, and sometimes they change. So I would say that my list is much bigger than this, and I could do another 10 also.
I agree. And by the way, you're nailing a couple things because it really isn't always about my physical props in my collection. These are the most impressive. I mean, I've got, the yo-yo saw, thanks to you, from Octopussy, but I didn't put it in here, even though it's probably one of the most beautiful, complicated things. There it is. There's yours right there. And so I think it's going to be interesting. And the other thing I will say before we dive into this, the props and gadgets that I chose are not always from my favorite movies. Did you find
Hmm.
that as well?
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, it's just something, and also a little bit like, since we both have items that are made by collector friends and prop makers. Sometimes you just appreciate that handicraft so much. It might not be from your favorite movie, but it's just you'll just like that. Oh, this was so fun that they did this, and you kind of like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, listen, let me get less formal here. I actually tried to wear a let's see if I can get this off in real time. I should have never buttoned the sleeves. Oh my gosh, this is like an escape vest, like a Houdini escape vest. Oh my gosh. I'm not
You
editing
didn't think
this.
this through. Yeah.
People
So
love to
now I
see the
can.
torture of my life. Here we go. Yeah, that's more comfortable. Did you go in like any kind of order? I did. I chose my kind of least 10, like top 10, and I'm counting down to my number one. Are you doing the same thing?
Yeah, I'm counting down to number one. But when I chose them, I started from number one and number two. It was easier that way, in a way, to find those, because there are a few of those that I really they will always be there in the top.
Perfect. So listen, you're my guest. I'm going to let you go first. Out of the 10, what was the first one that you chose?
Okay, and here I'm breaking the rule a little bit, because this is the only one which actually isn't a prop, but it's the first thing I got, and it's the Corgi DB5
Ah,
that I got. I have to choose it here because at that time you couldn't get props. I don't know when was I, maybe 10 or 9 or something like this, and my parents brought this and they bought it in Paris. They were on a trip, and I don't think you could get this in Finland. So this is mine from my childhood. The guy is still there. Everything's functioning, and somehow. And yeah, I remember that I don't think I had even seen a Bond movie properly. My dad had just told about
wow.
this, and then my friend had the corgi, the other one, the submarine, and we played together with them. So this is not a prop, but at that moment it felt like a prop. I was in the movie and it was super exciting. I had only seen pictures, and my dad had been telling about this. So yeah, I
I
hope you
love it.
excuse me that I took a prop.
No, I think that's an amazing first choice. And I'll tell you what, I also kind of went for feelings and emotion for the first one. And it's going to surprise a lot of people that I chose something from this movie, but here it is. So I chose the Sonic Ring from Die Another Day. And
Okay, all right.
this was made by a friend of mine. You can actually wear it and put it on like so. And what I loved about it is, again, Die Another Day aside, you could say what you want about the movie. I just love that there's something that he's wearing. You know, it's something that just looks like kind of a high fashion accessory. And then suddenly he's using it in the film. I love how he uses it in the film to kind of break the glass and to do different things. I even love when he gets it from John Cleese, you know, that moment in Q Branch. My favorite part of all the movies, I don't care what you tell me, whether it's romance or action or cars, I love the Q Branch scenes the most. So this was kind of like, as you know, Die Another Day was a little bit of an homage to other Q Branch scenes. So this for me just has a lot of cool connection. But what do you think of the Sonic Ring?
Yeah, it's definitely very, very cool. And it's not one of my favorite movies either, but I actually do have an item from that movie coming up here a little bit later.
Okay, all right. Well, we got to go to your number two. What was your number two?
Let's see, where are we? Where are we? Number two. Yeah, I mean, this is a definite choice, and this was something that I wanted to build as a child, but I could not build it, and I because you didn't have any reference pictures. You
Ooh,
exited the movie, and then you couldn't remember, how it looked like. But it's definitely this dart gun from Moonraker, and I remember that I really, really, tried to even watch the movie again and try to, because at that time they showed the old movies again in the cinema, so you could go and watch
yeah.
sometimes every now and then. So I remember watching Moonraker and try to memorize it, and somehow this is such a cool item, and maybe an item that if I could have one for real, I think it could be this one. This is like one of the most fun items, and a fantastic. I mean, they have created these fantastic moments in the movie. So, yeah,
Can I tell you something? This one hurts because in my time, I've sold or given away to somebody, some of my things. I don't have the Moonraker dart gun. I used to, and I
Yeah,
actually wound up giving it away to a friend who it meant the world to them. Excuse the pun. And to see one again, it's just very sentimental. But I love that piece. That is amazing.
yeah. And
Oh,
I don't know if was there an official ever made, or were they all like
yeah,
made by
there was one
fans?
from SD Studios. They made
Okay,
one and it was very good. Wait, did
yeah.
you make that one yourself?
No, no, actually, I ordered it. This is not an official one. I only it didn't have the black paint in those like seams, so that I just added. But otherwise, it's not an official one. But it's nicely made otherwise, and I think it's very nice because it has the Seiko bracelet, which is really cool. We
Oh,
probably
yeah.
don't know what bracelet it had, but since Seiko was the choice of a watch brand in the movies, it's nice that they actually used the Seiko bracelet.
I love it. I love it. Well, I listen, you are a detail guy. I will say that. So my number two is again from Die Another Day, but it was one of these
Okay.
props that I kind of fell in love with. I love the action. I'm a big Brosnaissance guy, as they're saying, Brosnan. And of course, it is the breather from Die Another Day. Now, this is the factory entertainment one, so this is an official one. You can see how it's got the
Yeah.
little place where you put your tongue to get the oxygen in the air. I love that they reintroduced this from Thunderball because Thunderball was one of my favorite ones. I love all the detail that they had. And I really thought factory entertainment just blew this out of the water. But hmm,
Yeah, that's fantastic. I don't have that
nearly
one.
functional. Nearly functional.
Yeah.
What do you think of
Yeah.
this?
I mean, it's fantastic. And of course, you start wondering like how much oxygen would it actually contain? For how long could you swim? How many breaths could you take? But that's really fun and it's beautifully made.
I love it. I think again, I really love that, these companies are still making these, but of course it's now on you. What is your number three?
All right, here comes something fan made, and I know you also like these things. So
Oh,
this
yes.
this is now I've taken off the top secret uh, piece there, but this is one of those that some fans make, and I think it's fantastic. So this is the file for your eyes only, and we see it in the Lotus. I think we only see it in the Lotus. He just opens and looks at it. Bond looks at it, but you don't actually see what's there. But this fan, this Henrik from Denmark, has then thought through and been thinking that what would it have? And of course, it has the kind of info about the people, info about locations. It has a lot of like classified documents, and this is so fun because you don't see anything of this, but actually this
Yeah.
is a thing that expands the Bond universe to something beyond that what we see.
I love
And
that.
yeah, it's so beautiful, and he's made others of these also, and it's so fun that they are so well made. There's an octopusy one also, which is really nicely made, and I mean, you don't see this in the movie, but isn't it fun that there's even his fingerprints and everything? I
I think
just
it's
think it's
amazing. I've seen a few of
yeah,
these, and I have a few of these too, where fans have gone beyond or taken little tiny moments and blown them up or retraced it or
yeah,
redone the photos. It's to me, it's the artistry behind this that blows me
yeah,
away in owning these pieces for sure.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
all right. Well, listen,
You
I've got to
go.
go to my number three, and this may shock you. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is, again, from a movie that's not my favorite, but it's one of my favorite gadgets, and it's so simple. By the way, for those watching at home, you notice how Klaus is like getting in close? That's because we didn't check with each other. We never
No, no,
told
no.
each
I'm
other what we were going
excited.
to pick. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
But here
yeah,
we go. It is Q's ring on how he wins the things from Die
yeah,
Another Day in Circus
yeah,
Circus. And this is a beautiful ring. It's all metal. The numbers are all inset, or the letter B is all inset in there. Absolutely tooled and beautiful. And this was from a professional prop artist over in the UK. But what makes this even more special is this was a short run that was done in honor of a friend of ours that died. It says in
Yeah.
memory of Andy House, who was Gadget Meister, and it shows 1960 to 2020. He unfortunately passed away in 2020. So this ring was done in homage to him, and and actually the proceeds gone to charity, one of his favorite charities. So it has sentimental value, but I also just love the Q moment. That Q's actually out in the field working with one of his own gadgets. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a fun gadget, definitely, and it's really beautifully made. I also have that one, and uh, it's not one of my favorite movies in any way. But that's the thing also, that I think that this prop collecting also makes us, value movies that we maybe other people don't value so much, because we can find the fun stuff in them, and one fun thing is this. Appreciating the props and those things. So I think definitely it's a way of connecting to the movie, which maybe we kind of uh, do better on some levels.
I agree. All right, my
Yeah.
friend, we are up to number 4 now. What do you got?
Are we four, not five? Oh yeah, here we go. Uh, yeah. So this is also not one of my favorite movies, but I do love this thing. This is the key from Die
Oh
Another
yeah.
Day. Yeah, when he enters the Q layer, and this is the Vauxhall Cross Station key, and this is done by our good prop maker friend Ed, and and probably with some help from his friends. And this is so beautifully made, and I just think that it's such a nice item and such a key moment in the movie
Ooh.
when he is sorry, I'm stealing your puns.
Wah,
And
wah.
yeah, so something about this, and also the display, and I think the display is always an important part, and this is very beautifully made, this display. So
Oh, it's
I
gorgeous.
love this item. I think it's a very kind of simple and easy one, but it's still very beautiful, and it's not so easy actually to tool this, to manufacture this. So I mean, I couldn't do this key, so it's
I,
really nice that someone does.
I will say that Ed is probably one of the main reasons why I'm into props and gadgets so much from the Bond
Yeah.
films. He's been kind of a mentor, um, my junkie, if you will, to like give me so many props and gadgets. He's a master.
Yeah, yeah, and he's also a mine go-to when I need some information. So we've been exchanging some information and even some parts we've been sending to each other.
Ah, see, that's what it's all about, trading. All right, well, I
Yeah,
will jump into mine, and so here's kind of an interesting thing. Again, I would not say this is in my top 10 movies, but I absolutely love this prop. I love it in the movie. It's simple. It takes up screen time of about 3 seconds in the movie, and here it is right here. So for those of you at home in the cheap seats, that says Central Intelligence Agency. Klaus, do you know what this is?
no, I don't know.
All right, let me help you out a little bit. Let me open the box. All right, so here is a wonderful, beautiful case. So this prop artist went to so much detail as to build what the case would be like if this agent received it. And you're like, agent, wasn't it
Okay,
MI6?
okay.
So this is, and it even has an instruction booklet, which has real instructions as if the agent would receive it. And then there is a gold cross pen. And then, oops, it didn't come out right. Hold on. Oh no, it's not coming out right. Here we are, like live. Well, anyway, this is supposed to come out.
Yeah,
This is the hypodermic
yeah,
needle. And of course,
yeah,
it's the Moonraker pen
yeah.
that
Oh,
the agent
fantastic.
has. But here's the thing. This has such cool action. By the way, this is just like Q Branch where things aren't working correctly. So this
Yeah,
this prop artist built a spring in here, took the spring from the
yeah,
pen and a hypodermic that comes out to about here and did it so it literally, I'm going to pierce my skin if I do this the wrong way. It juts out. And so he
yeah.
built the box, the case,
That's
the
fantastic.
instructions, and the pen.
Yeah, it just needs some service, like all mechanical things. Even an Omega watch needs service every now and then, so
It
it just
needs
needs a little bit
service,
of
and
service.
I think also like Bond, I've destroyed the Bond prop.
Yeah, exactly. Living the brand again.
Oh
Yeah, I
my
mean
gosh!
that's
But
fun. Yeah,
again, I'm just so impressed that this person just built all this, like you said, the world around it. Like this might have
yeah,
been how she received it in the mail and said, go and put some poison in somebody.
yeah, yeah. Super fun prop. Super fun.
It's good. It's really good. But all
Yeah.
right, so what do you have next on the lineup?
Okay, number 5. Here we go. And I always think it's fun when you get something in a box. And I think James Bond, I mean, if you were an agent, someone would contact you, David Saritsky, we want you to do a special mission. And then you kind of hope that you get that box with something. And this, I think, is a beautiful box with
Ooh,
fantastic items. And there's something so nice. And this is actually like, of course not licensed, and someone has made better ones. This is my homemade version. I will get a better one, but this is actually, the gun looks quite nice, and that's just something I bought and I've kind of sanded and done, and so
wow.
it's it's a resin model, but it's very beautiful, and I somehow think it's a really fun thing. And when it's in that case, I have it in a nice display with a light on. I think this is beautiful, and also, of course, it's a little bit of a silly prop if you think that when do you need a gun that no one else can shoot? Well, of course, the story shows that it's very necessary at some point. So it's a little bit silly, but it's something fun that they've taken this PPK and they modified it in a modern version. And I think that when it's in the case, then it immediately looks like something
It's
pretty cool.
unbelievable. What a beautiful
Yeah,
presentation. And that's a really good point because I think a lot of times the presentation is half the battle. Like when it's really presented
yeah,
well, it like that's just a resin gun that you fixed
yeah,
up, but it raises the game so much.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's always fun and go hunting for some box that is the same shape and size. This is a little bit narrower than the movie one, but it's still the same. I don't know if you can see. Let's see if we can see, but there is it in the movie. Still before he got the tracker thing, but yeah, so it's nice.
I tell you what, I love things in boxes. I don't know about you, but the box thing, as I've said on this channel, is half the fun because then you can get into the whole unboxing thing. And we didn't plan this. We did not
Yeah,
plan this.
no,
But Klaus,
no.
my next Bond prop is in a box.
Okay,
And
okay.
if I come a little bit closer, you can see
Yeah,
again the detail that this prop artist put on here. But it says Q branch Pysis, Pysis, camera transmitter. It's got all these like wonderful numbers on it. And then you open it up.
yeah. I was guessing it's that one. That's so beautiful. And is that an existing like
It's an
camera
existing
thingy?
prop, but
Yeah,
this was taken from an existing prop and was built out by a
yeah,
professional artist. It
yeah.
says Pisces Night Vision Monocular GoldenEye 1995, and I have number 4 of only 10 made in the world. And if you
Yeah,
take it out, first of all, I love the moment in GoldenEye when he uses this. It's like this
yeah,
wonderful, little gadget. It's got all the
yeah.
little Fuji mop, but all of this is a static prop. Like none of this is an actual lens. But
Okay.
look at the
That's super
detail on this
cool
that this
looking. It's
prop
so
artist
cool
did.
looking. Yeah, yeah, fantastic.
I mean, he put the
Yeah, I
glass
really
in
love
there
it.
so there's a reflection, and then he even included the readouts.
Okay, very cool. Yeah,
So again,
definitely.
right? I mean, to me, the best, like when I received this in the mail, we got to talk about the visceral aspect of this.
Yeah,
This is when things transport you. Like you've sent me props and gadgets that have little notes in there, little items like you would never consider. And it's like when something like this transports you back into the movie, that's the magic of it.
yeah, definitely. That's very cool, and it's such a cool design on the item.
Oh,
It's really kind of looking so correctly high tech.
I know. By the way, I love the fact that so far we haven't chosen the same one. This is like very
No,
unique.
that's true. Yeah.
All right,
Should I
what's
go
next
number
on your,
6?
your lineup?
Yeah. So this is maybe kind of an ordinary one for many people, but I still want to show my appreciation for some of these that Factory Entertainment makes because they are so super nice. And I must say that
Ah,
I think this is a very, very nicely made prop. And this is something that I was thinking about that could I make it, but I would first of all I would need a good model. I would need to see it, and then I managed to get it, and I think it's so nicely made, it's worth buying, and it's very nicely displayed, and somehow it's a very kind of a central part in the movie also, and the keys and everything. So I do love this one. I think it's one of those classical ones that many collectors have, but still I think it's worth appreciating.
it's so beautiful. I have the same one. I love the light effect. I love that they have, again, display. You know, they really think about how is somebody going to put this. And the other thing I thought that was very thoughtful is they made it the width of a shelf. So if you have a shelf at home,
Yeah,
it's not going to take up a huge amount of space. It's just the
yeah,
size of a shelf.
yes.
Love it.
So it's
Oh
really
my
cool. I
God.
mean, we're not the biggest audience. We Bond prop collectors. So it's fantastic that there are companies that make these. If you think that what was this made like a was it like a 500, 400, something like that. So that's really cool that we are served. So 500 copies they made out of this. I mean, it's not a big business, but still, I'm so happy that they do it.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, here we
All
go.
right.
So,
Yeah.
you gave love to Factory Entertainment. I feel like this one does as well. And this was a prop growing up, of course. It's a simple one. Again, like you, it's probably one that a lot of people have. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that they have
Of
the
course.
sound, the very satisfying click back. I love that they magnetized this as well. So the smaller one that fits in the shoe um, not only pulls back, and this is a detail you probably won't pick up on camera, but not only does this pull back, you can kind of see it there, closes, but it actually sticks to it like in the movie.
Yeah.
For me, functionality, the
Yeah.
ability to hear, to see lights, to have that feeling, the same satisfaction of metal. When a prop is designed to actually exist outside the movie and somebody goes to the pains to do that, that is half the magic. But what do you think? Do you own this as well?
I don't have it. Is it Factory Entertainment also?
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a beauty. So if I would find it, I would probably buy it also. I think it's really nice. Sometimes they are so expensive when with taxes and shipping and everything. So then they become ridiculously expensive. But that's definitely a beautiful one, and that's one that would be really difficult to make yourself. You would really have to do some really really professional machining to get that done. So yeah, it's fantastic.
It's amazing. And again, I love the fact that they went the added distance. Obviously, in the film, the one in the film doesn't have a built-in sound, but this they went the
No,
added distance to do that. But it's time, my friend. What is your next prop? I love this game.
are we at what number now? Now we were number 7. Is it so?
I
I
think
think
it
so.
is.
Yeah, it's not because number 6 was. Yes. All right. Here we go. So this is actually then homemade, and this is one that I think you also have probably.
No, I don't have that.
You don't have that. Okay.
I
And the
again,
thing is that
this is one of these that I used to have it, and a friend of mine desperately wanted it. You know, unfortunately, I've given in to like friends who have like wanted these badly, and I wound up selling them. But
okay.
oh,
So this one is homemade by me. So the thing is that I had to find the part or kind of basic construction. It's an old paintball gun that they had built it from. So then I had to do these parts, and other collectors and prop builders notice that this is, for instance, not so good looking. I will still get it 3D printed, and I will get it, but and some parts. But but because this was handmade by me, I don't really 3D print much. I'm not so good at it, but I think it's a very, like, as a design object in the movie, it's really really beautiful. And I think there's something, I very often, when I go and watch TV, I take a toy with me. I have it on the table, and it just feels like this one is actually very very nice, with the display standing there, and just feels like a beautiful, beautiful prop. So a few details will be made, but this is one of my favorites, not because of my design, I didn't design it, but because of the people who designed it for the movie. And I think it's just a beautiful, beautiful prop.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And I tell you, especially now that I've jumped off that dam, I really regret getting rid of that prop. I mean, that's one of these things
Yeah.
that it's so beautiful. And I love your display stand. I love the base of that.
Yeah, it's, and I think it's always important with so I have some kind of fake graphics there, and then I've even had a fake piece of concrete here, and then have the little
Oh,
wire with the cable with the arrow attached to that, and it looks quite nice. So I have a small magnetic piece on the other side of the cable, so it can be attached here. So sometimes I have even that version. But yeah, it's a very nice. It's a little bit like that binocular that you had, the
I
same kind of style and colors and everything, like form language is the same.
It's gorgeous. All right. Well, I'm going to a simple one now, but I chose this one because we're getting pretty high up now.
But hey,
To your
sorry,
point,
sorry. Did I say this was number 7? I think. Yeah, this was number 7. Did I say 8? But anyway, this was number 7.
no, you said
Yeah.
seven.
Okay, good.
By
We
the
don't
way,
want to miss any.
Klaus is getting over. I think he got the Hercules virus. So if you hear like
Yeah,
a little clog and stuff like that, you
yeah.
know. But
Um,
you're drinking Heineken, so that's not going to hurt.
yeah. It's alcohol, without alcohol, but yes, it's very
Well,
good.
that's a shame. That's bad on you. But here we go. I'm going for a sentimental one. This is from one of my favorite Connery movies. And of course, I had to choose it because it's so simple. And I think people went bonkers in the 1960s with this too. It is, of course, the breather from Thunderball. Now, this one in particular, I've had so many versions. Ed Maggiani gave me my first one. This one is the factory entertainment that comes with the Die Another Day one in the 2-pack. But I absolutely love this one. I love the paint job on it. I love the detail of the brass. Just to me, this is like so perfect in every way. It looks the part, and it has so much sentimental value. When I think of James Bond props and gadgets, this actually almost immediately comes up in my mind, probably in the top 3 or 4. And that's why
Yeah.
it made my top 3 or 4. But what do you think?
Yeah, it's very beautiful, and somehow you can see that looks like old-fashioned. It looks retro, which I really like. And then they decided to paint that black and white there, which there's something like Tintin space rocketish kind of feeling in it. So it's really cool.
I love this one so much. You must have a
Yeah,
version of this, I assume.
I don't have, and I have parts for it, so I've been thinking about building it, but I don't have it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
we gotta take care of that for sure. All
yeah,
right, are we
has
up
to
to
be
number
fixed.
8?
Now we're at number 8, and this one will always be on the top, I think, of any of my lists of favorite props, and it's of course the golden gun. And this is the dual signature version with a nice stand with Roger Morse and Christopher Lee's autographs, and this is so much fun, and I have to play with it. Like very often, I take it down at the kitchen Friday evening. My wife is making food, and we're having some wine, and I just have to take it apart and play with it. And I think it's such a beautiful and iconic prop. So can't get much better than this.
I'm gonna just call something out. And again, I've said it once, I'm gonna say it again. Klaus and I did not check with each other. My number 8,
Oh, fantastic.
and this is the signature
Fantastic.
version from Factory Entertainment with, Christopher Lee and Roger Moore, which obviously you
Yeah,
cannot get those anymore. But I love all the detail.
yeah,
The bullet goes in there. Um, I have I don't know if you did it, but I put the little Calibri sticker on the top.
Oh, you put it there. Nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have
So, I
it.
mean, there was a
Yeah,
good friend of mine that made a bunch of those, but I love the feel of it too. I mean, I just feel that
yeah,
it feels substantial. It feels cold to the touch. Plus, I've got to tell you, and maybe I'm not in the norm for this, but this is still one of my fun guilty pleasure films. I love this movie.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. I also think it's a fun movie, and I don't know. Yes, I mean it's not very highly ranked, and I don't know why. Because I think it's such a fun movie, and it has these kind of fantasy elements, like this gun is a kind of very iconic thing. So maybe it's
Yeah.
so also that since we are prop collectors and we also appreciate the movies so many different aspects, this kind of rises up this movie on other levels than maybe storytelling levels.
I agree. And by the way, this is the one I have to say when people that maybe aren't big Bond fans, they come into my collection, they immediately go to this. They see it
Yeah,
gold glistening and they're like, isn't that? And I'm like, yes, it is. And then like to you, like with you, once I take everything apart, their heads explode.
yeah.
They love it.
And this must have been a pain for those prop makers to kind of make, because putting it together is a little bit, you kind of have to have it just in the right place and click at it. So it hasn't been an easy prop to make. So yeah,
No,
fantastic. That was fun that we chose the same one.
I think that's bizarre, but I love that. All right.
Yeah.
So believe it or not,
All right.
we're up to number 9.
Number 9. Here we go. Ta-da-da-da-da-da. This one is homemade, and I have a few homemades here, and
Oh,
this, of
come
course,
on.
this somehow this took a long time. I remember when we were chatting at some point, you also asked about this, that have I been thinking about making this, and I had it for a long time on my kind of list, and it was, I just couldn't really figure out exactly how to make it. So I figured it out, and then I also had help from friends like Ed Maggiani helped with this part, which is really no, this part. Ed Maggiani had helped with this jumper switches, and I got them from him. This was from Luca, a fellow builder from France, who helped me, and I figured
Okay.
out the other stuff. And what now, kind of, maybe wouldn't have been up on number 9, but I got the very nice autograph here from Julian Glover, now previous weekend when we were there in London Comic Con. So I got it there, and I think I thought that I haven't built this backside because it does have some parts also, but now I think there's a good reason to leave it without anything. So now with the autograph, somehow from the first Bond movie I ever saw, iconic, and it's kind of nice size, and it's, I even carry it around here sometimes at home, Friday evening going down again. So I always take a toy with me, and this very often comes with me.
It's beautiful. I know when you first debuted this, I could not believe. I mean, I've seen you put together some very complicated things, but this was at a whole new level. And then, of course, to get it signed, you can see
Yeah,
the joy on Julian Glover's face. I just, it's the
yeah.
pinnacle.
He was very kind of surprised. He immediately knew what it was, and then he said, "Be careful with that one. It blows up things." So it was quite fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
which is perfect. It's a perfect thing to say. All right,
yeah.
my number 9. Let me do my number 9 now, and
Okay, it's gonna be.
this is going to really hit home, literally. This was actually made by a friend, sort of to replace something that, again, I feel like there's a lot of this theme with me, regret selling an original one. And it just had so much value to me. When I saw it in the film, it meant so much as a young adult. And of course, it is made by none other than Klaus. It is.
I'm very
I, I,
honored.
I I mean this when I say this. Even though this is a static prop, I am just floored. I saw the process on how it was made. I love the display. I love the details. I love how it feels, the size. Everything is just so perfect. The fingerprint scanner imagery on it, the way the buttons, and you made this with so much love and care. This is by far, out of all my props that I own, And I mean this, every time I walk by it, and I walk through my collection multiple times a day, it is the one that I just go over and I pick up, and I adore it so much. And that's why it's almost to the very top of my choices.
Wow, wow, fantastic! I'm honored. I'm honored. I never thought that you would get that. Okay, that's really fun that you like it so much.
Oh, it's amazing.
Which,
It's beautiful. You did, and again, it's not just because it came from a very good friend. It's because I know how much care and love you put into it. But then I also love the part in the movie. So to me, if I think about all the things I rated these on, it's like tick, 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 tick. It ticks off all the boxes.
yeah, and it's such a fun movie, and I also still like that. I like the BMW. I even every now and then I Google and see that are those for sale. I'm just thinking that wouldn't it be nice to have the long version of the 750 and just sit there in the back when my wife is driving and fiddle with the phone. So there's some things. It's
That would be
such
fun.
a go to feel good movie, yeah. And and you
You
would
made
think
one
that
for
actually
yourself, though, right?
I have made, yes, and now I'm coming with my number 10, and I'm very sorry. I feel almost this feels evil now because I have
Oh
also
no.
chosen, but I've chosen the real one.
Oh no, no,
So
no.
this is
That's
a
not
little.
evil at all. I love that.
I felt that this is now stabbing you. I have the same, but it's the real one. So so I've chosen this as my one, and yes, I do also have the one that I made. And of course, if I didn't have the real one, I couldn't have made the you know the fake one. So I really needed all those measurements and everything. So I mean, it's helped me to do it. So yeah, but I of course I got this from a very good friend. I got it as a gift. So that was just crazy because these are crazy valuable also. And you can see that it's the stickers have a little bit worn out because people have been playing with it before I got it. But
Yeah.
then this is the opening version. I couldn't make this opening version. I just thought it's so many collectors just want to have this, just have it there. And actually, I think the one I made looks kind of nicer because it's kind of brighter and shinier and the button and clearer. So it actually looks on display. It looks even better. But it's definitely one of the most fun props. And it's kind of weird that if you think that usually technology kind of ages, it doesn't age well in movies. But this
Yeah.
still is a very sleek and fun-looking phone. And I got the pleasure of interviewing this guy who I have it on my channel from Finland with Love, an interview with Tom Waldner, who designed this Bond phone, and he was working at Ericsson. So that's a very interesting backstory if anyone wants to go and see it. So we've chosen the same prop, but I now took the real one, and you had a fan made one. But
I think
very
that's,
happy.
by the way, I think that's totally fine. And interestingly enough, um, my top 10 prop gadget that I chose is actually from also Tomorrow Never Dies. Would you like to see it?
Sorry, have I? Yeah, it's your turn. Yeah, that was your number 9, and it's number. Yes, fantastic. Yes, I was thinking, am I running out? But I don't need to show anything yet.
No,
Yeah,
no, no. This
you
is
go.
my number 10, and it's from Tomorrow Never Dies. So I'm going to
Yeah,
show it to you, okay?
yeah. Hit me.
I'm showing it to you.
You are showing it to me.
So I
Okay,
had to
okay.
choose. Yeah, I had to choose my Omega Seamaster, which, as you know, is not just Tomorrow Never Dies. It's The World Is Not Enough. It's Die Another Day. And to me, when I think about gadget and prop that really means something, obviously this is 100% accurate, but that
Yeah,
does so many different things. As a child, and I want to bring this back to nostalgia, as a child, I used to love the James Bond props and gadgets that did many things. It was almost like a Swiss Army knife. It did more than one thing. And this has been grappling hook, flashlight, detonator, laser. It's been all these wonderful things. And because of that, as I thought about, which one, and I know this was not made by, a fan or a prop master, but to me, I still had to count it as something that means so much to me. And I wear it so much, and it really got me into the whole world of Bond and Bond collecting. So I had to choose it as my number 1. What do you
Yes,
think?
it's a very, very, very good choice. And yeah, definitely. I mean, that was a whole game changer for Omega, and it was a game changer for many. Like, I don't think I would be. I'm collecting watches, not like huge amounts, but I do have a lot of Seikos, and I have Omegas. And the one that I'm using is actually this one.
Oh,
I so this is just a newer version, the next generation of the one you have, and I just happened to choose the black one because somehow I like the black one. But I mean, I wouldn't have this Omega watch or any other probably if I wouldn't have connected with that watch that he had. It's such a beautiful and iconic watch, and as you said, all these gadgets built into it. It's like a perfect gadget.
I love it. I love it. I'll
Yeah,
tell you what, my friend, this was not easy to come,
yeah.
whittle it down to 10. What do you think? How did we do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing is that your collection is so huge, so you could do this like twice a day for a couple of weeks. But I think I did quite a good. Yeah, I think so, and I managed to also show things that are officially made and unofficially made, and a good variety. So I hope that people find this interesting, and I certainly thought it was very interesting to see your choices.
Oh, I loved your choices. I was shocked that so many of them connected to each other. Sometimes we had the same number. And again, I think it gets back to the whole idea that, here we were doing, top 10 Bond props and gadgets. But I would love to find out in the comments below, did you agree? Did you disagree? What are your favorite props and gadgets? And Klaus, maybe we'll have you back on and we can talk about people's comments and maybe even talk about Bond vehicles at some point.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. We both actually have a Bond vehicle.
We do. We can talk about those
Yeah.
or maybe even some in the background. By the way, I, from Finland with Love, I mean, not everybody knows that you have a YouTube channel, which I absolutely adore. But do you have a theme song like From Finland with Love or no?
No, actually, we every now and then I use my band's kind of fan-made Bond song. What was called "The Game Is On." So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
played every now and then. Yeah,
The
so that I
game is
use.
on.
Yes, yes, yes. But that
I think we
channel
need to
has
do a From Finland with Love one, though.
yeah. We probably have to do a new one, but I have to wait till my voice gets better.
I loved it. I think it was great. It was just actually this was very much like a Q branch moment. Sometimes the picture would, freeze. Sometimes there would be a throat clog. This is like a Q branch moment where not everything goes perfectly, but one thing that's perfect is Klaus and our friendship. I appreciate this. Thank you so much for this video, Klaus, and thank you for being on the show.
Thank you. It was super fun.
All right. And of course, this has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. I've got to clean up my toys, but we'll all talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.